Hello, my name is Sandra Ridgwell and this video is part of the community group Folks Kindful Cafe project, sharing the folklore of Shropshire. So get yourself a cup of tea, watch the video and join in with us by posting on our Facebook page. Today I'm going to show you how to make a small concertina book. I'll show you how to make one and then I'll show you how I've decorated mine. So to start with, we need 2 A4 pieces of paper. Now I would suggest you choose something a little heavier than copy paper because that really doesn't keep going very long, it doesn't last very long. I wanted to use watercolours on my book, so I have used watercolour paper, but if you were going to use inks or coloured pencils, then cartridge paper would be a good choice. You need to mark 10 centimetres and 20 centimetres across the short edge of your paper and then cut those lines all the way down. Having got your 2 strips, they need to be scored at 10, 20 and 25 centimetres, and then you can cut off that last little bit. This part here is what we're going to use to glue one strip to the next strip, and it's at this point that you can make your book as long or as short as you choose. Having got all your sheets of paper glued together, the final flap of 5 centimetres on the right hand edge can be taken off because we won't require that. The next thing we need to do is to make 2 covers. So for the covers, I like to use cardboard out of these rigid envelopes, the back of a paper pad, some packaging or cereal box. For the covers, we then need to have a further sheet of A4 and cut 2 14 centimetre squares from that, and we're going to score those in each at 1.5 centimetres on all 4 sides, which will give us something like that, and those folds then will be used to cover the card. So you glue the card into the centre of your paper, but if you just trim that mite of that corner, then you'll be able to fold it all down quite nicely. Just run a little bead of glue on and also on that flap there, so that will make sure that it's all nice and smoothly adhered down. Let the glue dry on that before we do the next part. We should have now 2 covers like that. You need 2 pieces of ribbon. I usually use about 70 centimetres and cut it in half. This is 1/4 inch wide ribbon. These will make the ties for our book. Taking the front cover about 2 centimetres in, I cut a slot the width of the ribbon and to poke the ribbon through to the other side. And to do that, I use a bent paper clip. Slip it into the slot, thread the ribbon through and pull it through to the other side. Need to leave about 4 centimetres of ribbon on the wrong side, which we then glue down, and that will hold it firmly for when you're closing your book. Taking your book pages now, the first page, glue to the front cover like that, covering all that cardboard up, trapping the ribbon, and then going along to the end of your book, you need to we'll have cut off that end flap on this one, and then you can do the same, making sure that your ribbon is pointing the same way as the front. Okay, so now you've got your book. Let me show you how I decorated mine. I decorated my book using some of the folklore that I picked up from the Shropshire Folklore book and some images that I've made to go with that. I've themed my book Maytime, and Charlotte Byrne tells us that May Day was the day of the year practically began for a very large class of the population of Shropshire because, she writes, male and female servants in farms and other middle-class households engaged themselves to serve the same master for a year from the 1st of May, and nearly every market town can still show its May Fair as a witness to the custom of former times. I've managed to find this photograph of maypole dancing at Shropshire Festival, Victorian or Edwardian times. And I've chosen an image of the sort of headdress young girls might wear doing their maypole dancing to adorn the front of my book. On the first page, I've got an image of the blackthorn. Blackthorn was identified because the flowers appear before the leaves, and it's from blackthorn that we get sloes for our sloe gin. But do take care when gathering your sloes, because the wounds from the vicious thorns very often turn septic. Next, I have feathers. There's an awful lot written about feathers in the Shropshire Folklore book, and particularly we're warned not to use the feathers of game birds to stuff pillows or mattresses, because no one will sleep quietly or have a peaceful death there if you do. And they used to burn the feathers after plucking the game birds to avoid that happening. And we're told the story of an old man who was suffering a long and lingering illness, but when a lady visitor removed the pheasant feathers from his pillow, he quickly passed peacefully away. We're also advised that if we come across a black feather lying on the ground, never pass it without picking it up and sticking it upright in the soil. Next, I have the marsh marigold, which was also known as the Mayflower, and we're told on May Day every house in Edgemond used to be adorned with a bunch of these flowers, hung stalk uppermost on the doorposts, where they remained withering for a day or two. However, it was considered unlucky to pick them before the 1st of May, and my mother used to tell me that it was unlucky to bring May blossoms into the house. Finally, I have the cuckoo, the custom being to mark the time you hear your first cuckoo of the year. If you lived in Wenlock or Bridgnorth, it was said that whatever you are doing at that time is the thing you will continue to do all year. But if you're from North Shropshire, you should turn your money over in your pocket so that you'll never be without it during the year. And then again, in the northwest of the county, it's enough that you have money in your pocket. It's particularly lucky to have a gold coin, and of course very unlucky if you have none at all. In Pulverbatch they say, bad for barley, good for corn, when the cuckoo comes to an empty thorn. And in Aston Bottrell, near the Brownclea Hill, it is said, when it rains and the sun shines, a cuckoo is going to heaven. I hope you've enjoyed this look through my book and hearing the snippets of folklore I've gleaned from the writing of Charlotte Byrne and Georgina Jackson. And if you have any folklore you would like to share with us, please pop it below. We'd love to hear it. Likewise, if you have any questions, do the same and I'll do my best to answer them. So thanks for watching. Please leave a comment or image below and look out for the next in this series of videos that were made possible through National Lottery community funding. Thank you.